there was years where we did prank wars against each other. He won. I hate to say it, but prank wars. Prank wars. Yeah, like I remember showing up to his house. Podcast. I remember showing up to his house one day and like his father-in-law's in the garage drinking, just talking shit, like looking at the garage, like, fucking Matto. And I forgot who was with me, but we're sitting outside the garage for like an hour. We're like, fuck, dude, we need him to hurt him going. So we were gonna mess with Robbie's van. He was like, I think it was like at our buddy Nudi's birthday party down at the beach or something. Yeah. I jacked up his van. I took all his wheels off his van, shoved them in the back, put his lug nuts in all his doors, left them on blocks, and then like he would come home. Like I left out of town for like 2 weeks. He took my dumpsters from outside my property, put them in my garage. My door was open to my house. He put 2 dumpsters in my garage in the summer when it's like 115 degrees. I go home, my house stunk like trash for like 2 or 3 weeks, dude, like gnarly. And then I went to his house and he left his keys in his skid steer. He was over back in Australia or somewhere. And I didn't mean to, but I broke all his sprinklers in the skid steer, grabbing all his ramps. I grabbed all his ramps and I put them on his driveway. So you couldn't go in his driveway. There was just ramps all the way. Like his driveway is pretty long. So I like, dude, he had to hop the fence.
I got home. I'm like, fuck. I had to get my ski to move all these ramps. He's like, they're all got pictures on them like this.
Middle fingers and it says Twitch 1, Matto 0. Like we were keeping score on everything.
How far did you guys live from each other?
Not even a half a mile, maybe. At this time, we lived on the same street, MDP block.
It would have been it would have been like 1,000 feet max from each other.
Yeah, everything you guys measure in feet's like a jump.
Yeah. Nate Adams' house is like 350 feet because I could just shorter there on the golf ball.
I could jump there in 4 jumps. Matt was going to do it in 1.
Wait, and how long did you guys live next to each other for?
A couple years. I was waiting for my house that I was getting into then, but like I think the best one. I remember our wives were getting mad because. Mine was pregnant and he was messing with me so much. She's like, hey, like, I don't care what you guys do, but it can't cost it. Like, if he does something to us, it can't cost us money. And I told Matt, I'm like, I don't care what you do, but my wife has to be able to get her car out of the garage and through the driveway to go to the hospital to give birth if she goes into labor. I was like, that's the only rule. That was the only rule. I'm like, because my wife's like 9 months pregnant at the time. We're still messing with each other. This dickhead gets me so good. It's like the biggest race of the year, the last national. It's at Lake Elsinore. And I'm calling him. I'm like, what are you going to do? He goes, I don't even have to leave my house to do it. And I'm like, I'm thinking the whole time, I'm like, what's Matto going to do? What's he going to do? So early in the morning, I wake up and I take a screenshot of his contact. It's like his email and
your
his phone number.
Blowing up, right?
It didn't start blowing up yet, but I'm like, I have a feeling. So I just screenshotted it and I was like, I posted it. I'm like, hey, make sure to go tell Matto I said, fuck you today. That's it. Had no clue what he was doing. In the meantime, he's getting in the helicopter at his house. His phone starts blowing up a little bit and he's like, because you only told like 1 or 2 people like JoJo. And he's like, that motherfucker changed the phone number. Like he thought I found out what he was doing. He paid an airplane to fly around the race for an hour with my phone number on the back. And it says, dudes, for a good time, call Twitch. Bro, fucking awesome. I had like 3,800 missed calls. I had like 5,000 text messages. I'm answering phones. I'm like, what's up, dude? I'm like, what's going on? They're like, no way, this is Twitch. I'm
call
like,
for a good time.
Yeah, I'm like, no way. My wife's freaking out. She can't get a hold of me. I end up turning my phone off because I'm like, before you can zero it out or anything, it's ding, 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 like nonstop. And this dude's just dying laughing. Dude.
Like but my phone's up blowing up because he's blowing up and he's getting all these calls from because I hired a company out of LA. So he's like getting calls from LA, then Anaheim, then Corona.
Yeah, because it flew from there all the way down to.
So then he realized something's going on. So he just puts on my contact. He's like, tell Matto. So my phone's blowing up. His phone's blowing up. I thought he got me. So I'm in the helicopter. I got the helicopter at the house and we're going up and we're in the helicopter. I'm like, there's a plane. I'm like, what does it say on there?
What's the number?
And it's like, still says Twitch. I'm like, well, how's my phone blowing up? Anyway, we both got new phone numbers that day. And then the funny thing is our phone numbers are like almost identical now.
Yeah.
We both got the same numbers.
Yeah, they're both 265 and they're like really close to each other. I was like, no way, dude.
Let's not say the number now.
But the best part was I was incredible. Like, after that, everyone's like, what do you do? Like, well, I had in my head because it was the next year and they just gave birth to Cruz and they were coming back from Australia. And I was like, I got it. I'm going to call and say my house has termites and I'm going to tent his house and say it's my house. I'm going to be like, hey, can you tent my house but not spray the stuff? And my wife's like, hell no, you're not doing that. Like, I know what Amy's going through. She just had a baby. They're flying from Australia. The last thing they're going to do is get to their house and it's tinted and you can't get into it. So I was like, that kind of ended it right there. Like, I was like, he got me. I'm like, that. Like, how do you top the stunt that he did? I'm like, that's a hard one to beat. And I've never been stumped on like trying to get people back before. And that time I was just like, Matto got me.